9th. All three committee members are present. The rest of the board is not.
They don't know where the fun is.
That's right. We get things done here. So I guess we should ask for public comment since we actually have time this week. Is there anyone that has public comment on policy issues? Okay. Then I think the first thing that we'll bring up, if you guys are in agreement, 218.3, which is a new policy. It's kind of a harsh situation that it deals with. Placement of students convicted or adjudicated of sexual assault. This came from PB,
Yes, BA.
Pennsylvania School Board Association.
Yes, it's to comply with the requirements of Act 110, which puts specific rules in place for when a student is convicted of sexual assault.
And I only see one or two edits here. It's where it replaced disciplinary with placement. Was that us or was that?
That was us, and that's because we still are responsible for educating a student who has been so convicted, and so what's determined is the placement.
Okay.
I don't mean to, I'm certainly not trying to make light of this, but when a student is involved in any kind of infraction of the legal system, there's already a policy is in place. What is it about this particular issue that requires it to have its own policy? Is there something in the law that mandates that this one have its own set of specifications?
Well, Act 110 put these rules into place, and so PSBA's recommendation is that it be explicitly written into policy so that we're in compliance with that act.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. Thank you.
So it seems like a great deal of policy is to protect the victim, which is a good thing. Are there restrictions on, if there's the opportunity to actually just dismiss the person from school? Is that possible? Expel?
It's possible depending on, I guess, the where and when and particulars of the crime, that there also would be school-based discipline, which could include expulsion. However, we are still obligated to educate the student even if expelled.
And I'm not trying to open up cans of worms here, but I'm going to tear off the lid just a little bit. Assuming we have an 18-year-old student, which several of our students are 18 years old, who might get adjudicated and put on some form of offenders list that prohibits them from being or engaging in certain activities, is that at all, that I don't see that being addressed, is, not allowed to come within 50 feet of a school or something like that. I don't see that specifically spelled out here. But I imagine that's a possibility. Is that addressed in the act? Is that something we need to address?
I'm not familiar with it being in the act.
Yeah, I think we might want to ask the solicitor that question. That sounds like a solicitor question.
I'm not
to me.
trying to
Yeah.
create something that doesn't exist. It just pops into my head of these kind of things that we have to deal with every day, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
meaning
but-
if there was a Megan's Law, yes.
So that would probably come from the adjudicating body, so a judge or a jury or whichever. I don't,
But it's a catch-22. We're required to educate the
understand.
child, but at the same time, the child's not allowed in our schools kind of thing?
well,
Which
And-
case we would just have to make, I'm sorry, Brian.
I was gonna say, and that could be the case, depending on what, let's say, for example, a judge decides, and then, that does limit our ability to educate, but, or at least the modality of the education, I would assume, but, It doesn't mean we can't do it.
Well, we should have a policy.
Should we?
I'm asking.
I guess my concern would be, there would be so many possible potential outcomes of the thing. I'm not sure how to word the policy.
Again, I'm not trying to solve a problem here. I'm just trying to recognize I see an inconsistency, and I'm asking for, and I think I see Ms. Edwards jotting down lots of notes over there. See if this is there any there that we need to address?
So, in my opinion, the Megan's Law thing would immediately preclude school, and force us to some sort of external education process.
I mean, yeah, it would make
Do
sense.
we want to move this over to Garden for a comment? Mr. Garden?
I'm fine moving it forward because, again, it's a PSBA policy. I raised an issue that is far out, it might be outside of this as it's written, so I don't see any reason not to go forward with this policy as it is, though.
Right. And Ms. Edwards, correct me if I'm wrong, but when PSBA goes through and generates a policy like this, their solicitors go through as well to make sure it complies with whatever the laws are. Is that correct?
That is correct. I do think that checking into the implications of an 18-year-old student who is placed on that type of list is a good suggestion, so I do recommend that
Yeah.
we check that out, but I agree, it's not a reason not to move the policy for first reading.
Right.
Okay. Do we want to move these forward one at a time? Well, all in favor of moving that one forward?
Aye.
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 Or I guess we should have motioned, huh? I move that we move that one forward.
Second, and, okay.
They're guidelines, they're not hard and fast mandates.
No, right, until it goes to the board, yeah. The next policy manual is 300 employees, code 351 for a drug-free workplace. There's recommended no changes. I guess that came from PSBA that way. I didn't really see a reason to make any modifications to that.
Do we want to just like save ourselves some time? Is there anyone that needs to be?
Discussed?
No, I went,
All these are pretty, like I said, all seem to be updates. That's what I'm asking.
yeah, I went through all of these yesterday, and I didn't see anything that jumped out at me as being alarming. The only one I would have asked to kind of separate to discuss would have been 218.
18, right.
The one I would ask, and I'm only bringing this up because we did see an email recently. There was an email that is kind of tied to 221. There was a student email, if the board members saw it. Certainly don't want to address that here. We can certainly push it forward, but we may need to relook at it again, depending upon where that conversation goes offline.
Well, yeah, definitely after the principal, because my understanding was the principal in that situation was going to meet with the students to discuss. So, yeah, I mean, if something else comes down, I would say let's revisit, but until then, I think it's the purview of the people in the building.
No uniforms.
No, I don't think we need uniforms.
Was struck from the policy. It was.
Uniforms.
Uniforms. Okay, so, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 policies that were pretty much all on the page that can move forward as they are.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes?
I'll make a motion to move them all forward.
I'll second.
All in favor?
A.
I guess we can't take on any more, right? It was easy this one. This could have been the meeting last week when we only had 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, any discussion from the public?
Dave, Jason, got anything to drop in? What's that?
What do we want to do with the informational items? They were supporting the policies.
I looked
And-
through them, I didn't see anything that changed, so that was just to let us know what they were.
I always like when I see something there, I was like, does anybody want to discuss it?
Yeah.
If not, there it is.
Motion to adjourn.
David's all good.
We have some time.
Dave, you want to say anything for the good of the order? Okay.
We're like begging you to talk.
No, let's take a break.
I'm gonna get harassed now. We didn't use the whole time after, whatever. All in favor of, or motion to adjourn.
So moved. I'll take,
Second it, all in favor.
bye.
Hey.
It is an efficient process.
We're done?
Yeah, sorry.
Not for nothing, Mike, but we used to get through like,
50 of them at a time.
30 or 40, a couple of those